Hello and Assalamu alaikum. Ultrascan Diagnostics here. This is the CBCT of the patient which you had requested. The area of interest has not been mentioned, so we'll give you a generalized idea. We've got central incisors and a canine and a molar on the upper left side with a upper left. I'm presuming this to be a canine, which seems to be smaller in stature. On the transaxial view, we're going to zoom in on the upper arch first. The transaxial view, you can see this is the upper right canine. It has adequate bone support with a slight bit of a cavity on the lingual aspect, which might be encroaching into the nervous space and could be a potential endodontic complication. Moving to the lateral incisor space, we've got an extremely atrophied ridge. Moving to the central incisor, here you can see the central incisor has bone loss. We can see significant bone loss here, but no periapical radiolucency, and we're presuming this tooth not to be mobile. At the same time, moving on to the central incisor on the top left quadrant, we have a class 5 cavity with dentine involvement and can lead to an endodontic complication or can be saved with a indirect or direct pulp approach. Moving to the lateral incisor on the upper left hand quadrant, again extremely atrophied and thinned out ridge. This is the upper right canine, which is upper left canine. My apologies. This is a BDR, has a periapical radiolucency, and you can see has bone support, but we are suspecting this to be below the gingival level. And hence either crown lengthening will be needed or an extraction is definitely indicated. But even if extraction is done, we would not have sufficient bone for an immediate implant placement. Moving to the upper left premolar region, this region does not have sufficient bone. We've got 3 millimeters of ridge width with approximately just 6 millimeters of ridge height. Moving to the second premolar region, again very small ridge here, very atrophied ridge here. The molar on the upper left hand quadrant has good bone support on the mesial side, has very minimal bone support on the parietal aspect. You can see there's a cavity present in the parietal aspect with severe bone loss as well, and the distobuccal root is also extremely vulnerable as we have cortical bone loss. It's fenestration here as well. In the second molar region, again, the ridge thins out and shortens extremely. Moving to the upper right-hand quadrant in the first premolar region, there we go. We've got very short ridge here. Just to give you an idea, we've got a 6 millimeter of width, but approximately just 5 millimeters of ridge height. In the second premolar, we've got a BTR with a periapical radiolucency. In the first molar region, again, we've got an extremely thinned out ridge, and we've got severe atrophy as well. We've got 6.4 millimeters of width with only 5 millimeters of height. This is another part of the denture which can be seen here. The third molar region, we've got approximately 5 millimeters of width with approximately 5 to 6 millimeters of height. Moving to the lower jaw, in the lower right quadrant, the central incisor region. There we go. The central incisor region, we've got an extremely opaque, radio opaque ridge, but this is definitely implant worthy. But the cancellous bone here is absolutely missing. And moving to in the canine region, we've got relative bone stability here. We've got 7 millimeters of width with approximately 11 millimeters of ridge height. In the first premolar region, we again have a very thin ridge. If this can be alveoloplastic, so we've got 5 millimeters of width with approximately 10 millimeters of height. Moving on, this is the mental foramen. As you can see, the inferior alveolar nerve and the mental nerve has begun. In the molar region, again, we've got good ridge width, 5.5 millimeters with only 6.8 millimeters to the inferior alveolar nerve. To the lower left hand quadrant, this is the My apologies. This is the canine, yes. The canine on the lower left hand quadrant, as you can see, has significant bone loss, periapical radiolucency. It is definitely periodontally compromised. The lateral incisor region and central incisor region, we've got 4.9 millimeters of ridge width with approximately 10 millimeters of ridge height. This is again very radio opaque and very osteodense bone, and no cancellous bone can be seen. This is the first premolar on the lower left hand side, again significant bone loss, periapical radiolucency. This appears to be periodontally compromised as well. The lower left the lower left second premolar has no bone support, absolute bone atrophy and infection, and a periodontally compromised tooth with a periapical radiolucency can be observed here. The lower left first molar appears to be edentulous. We've got a very thin ridge, approximately 4.9 millimeters, and only 10 millimeters to the inferior alveolar nerve. And moving to the second molar, we've got two BTRs of the second molar, mesial and distal root, and again periapical radiolucencies associated with it. So if there are any further questions regarding this case, please feel free to reach to our team. Thank you very much.